biology class. In today's class, we are going to see what are the functions of epithelial tissue. If you can remember, children, you may know that in our last class, we learned about their names. Okay, we just understood how to memorize, how to remember the names of epithelial tissue. In today's class, let's see what are the functions of epithelial tissue. Now children, we already discussed that epithelial tissue is basically the protective shield which is present all over our body. Right now when you look into the mirror, okay, what do you see? What do you see when you look into the mirror? Now probably you will say that you see your face, you see your skin, you see your body. But as a biology student, now you can easily say that you actually see your epithelial tissue. Okay, when there is one photograph on the wall that is not a photo of your sibling or your mother or father, you are actually seeing the epithelial tissue. Obviously that epithelial tissue is covered inside your clothes, but that is the epithelial tissue, the skin that you see. Right now I am also standing, you can see my face, you can see my hands, you can see my neck. You are not actually seeing these things, you are seeing the epithelial tissue. So this epithelial tissue which covers all the outer skin of our body is known as epithelial tissue. Okay, this tissue is known as epithelial tissue. It is present everywhere. It is not only present in our skin, on our skin, but it also present in the boundary of the internal organs. Okay, in our body there is lungs, there is kidney, there is a stomach. All these organs are separated from one another. How they are separated? With the layer of this epithelial tissue. If there would be no epithelial tissue, what will happen? All these organs will intermix with each other and probably there will be disturbances in their function. Okay, so that is what we are going to study. As you can see here, you will notice that this epithelial tissue is present in trachea, in bronchi. I have just written few names, but it is present almost everywhere on our skin as well as on the outer skin of our internal organs. Okay, so we can say that this epithelial tissue is present on our skin also and the internal part of our skin as well. Okay, so you can see here trachea, bronchi, bronchioles, alveoli, digestive tract, that is in stomach, intestine, large intestine, small intestine, epidermis, okay, and oral cavity. It is also present in our mouth, and that is why it is so important. That's why it becomes so important to learn about epithelial tissue, because there are four tissues, right? That is epithelial tissue, connective tissue, muscle tissue and nervous tissue, out of which epithelial tissue is the most important tissue which provides us protection. Okay, so now in the last class, if you can recall, you may know that we classified epithelial tissue. Yes, we learned their names. Can you recall few names? If you can remember, we classified epithelial tissue on the basis of their shape and also on the basis of the layers, on the basis of their cell layers. Yes. Now if the cells are in square shape, what they will call it? They will be called as squamous epithelium tissue. If they are cuboidal in shape, if they are cube-like structure, what we will call them? We will call them cuboidal epithelium. If they are in square shape, squamous. Okay, squamous is derived from Latin word squam, which means square. Okay. Next, if they are in column shape, if they are like this column, they will be called as columnar. We already learned them. Also, I told you that if there is one layer, we will call them simple epithelium tissue. If they have many layers, as you can see here, if there are two or more than two layers, so it will be called as stratified epithelium tissue. Okay. So now you can easily say this is stratified squamous. This, because it is square in shape and it has many layers, so it is stratified squamous. Here you can see they are cuboidal in shape, they are cube in shape, so and layers are also there, so stratified cuboidal. Here they are column in shape, but layers are there, two layers are there, so stratified columnar epithelium. Okay, these are the various classification of various types of epithelial tissue. Now if you can see here, what you can see, you will see this human body. Okay, epithelial tissue covers all the outer lining present on our skin, okay, and also it is present in the internal organs. Epithelial tissue forms the lining of body cavity. Can you see here? This is the stomach. Now can you see this layer? Can you see this layer? This outer layer? Yes? Yes. So this is nothing but just the epithelium tissue. So this epithelium tissue underlines or outlines the internal parts of our body. It gives them protection. It helps in the proper management of the particles that move inside and out. If there will be no epithelium tissue, what will happen? All the digestive juices will come out. Okay. So that is the role of epithelium tissue. Now where they are present, can you see here? In this stomach, can you see these? Okay, so this skin have these type of tissue. Can you recall this? Which type of epithelium is this? Yes, this is cuboidal. This is cuboidal epithelium tissue, or it can be squamous. Okay, so they are present here and they help in the exchange of things. Okay, there are many things which need to be exchanged in our body. For example, oxygen. If you will see here, in the blood vessels or in the bronchi, you will see that oxygen needs to come inside. Carbon dioxide has to go out. So that exchange also takes place with the help of this layer. Okay. So that is the role of children. This epithelium tissue is somewhat like, for example, this is the cell. Cell has this outer membrane which is called as cell membrane. The role of this cell membrane is to monitor the exit and the entry of certain things from the body or inside and outside the cell. So that is the same role which is played by epithelial tissue. Okay. So epithelial tissue not only protects, but it also allows the absorption of things. It also helps in the secretion of things. Okay. It not only protects the internal organs, but it also helps in the absorption of certain things. Okay, like blood, like other oxygen, other things. And also it also secretes a lot of things. For example, sweat. You all sweat after playing in the ground. You cry, so tear comes out. So, and saliva in your mouth, saliva comes out. From where do you think these come? They are secreted by your skin, and in the skin epithelium tissues are present. Right? So we can say that epithelium tissue also secrete many things. So let's study about them. Okay. So firstly we will see here, this is simple and this is stratified. Okay, so simple we know that they have one layer, and in stratified there are many layers. They also have some significance. Okay, what is that? Why at some places we need simple epithelium and why at some places we need stratified epithelium? Can you guess? See children, if there will be simple layer, if there will be one thin layer, suppose you have this umbrella. Okay. Okay, before that I would like to tell you one thing, that these epithelium tissue don't have any space in between them. They don't have any space. Yes, there are no spaces in between these cells. They are very tightly packed. Why? Because they are protecting us and they make sure that certain things go inside and few things comes outside. Okay, so that is the reason why there is no space. If there will be any space, so it would be the situation similar to having an umbrella which will have some holes. Okay, the situation will be quite similar to this. That's the reason why all the epithelium tissue, they don't have any space between them. They have no space in between them. They are very tightly packed. Okay. So now what is the rule of stratified and simple? For that, let's see here. For example, this simple squamous, we are talking about simple squamous means it has one layer. So this layer is present in blood capillaries, it is present in lungs, and it is present in vacuoles, because we have to exchange certain things. Yes, here we have to exchange the blood, here we have to exchange the oxygen, or all these things. If there will be one layer, so the things can easily go inside, the things can easily come outside. But think about the situation when there will be many layers. What do you think will happen? The things cannot exchange feasibly. The things will not be able to exchange properly because there are many layers. Okay, so simple epithelium tissue basically helps in the exchange of things. in and out from the skin also and from the internal body parts also. Now if we, for example, oxygen enters the lungs, can you see here? So can you see this green portion all over this? So this is actually covered with the epithelium tissue. It has no space in between them, but it is so thin that the oxygen can easily enter the lungs. Also, single layer of squamous cell help in the efficient transfer of oxygen in blood. We all know that in our blood is nothing without oxygen. Okay, we are surviving not because of the blood, but we are surviving because of the oxygen which is present inside our blood. Blood is actually carrying the oxygen. Okay, so we don't need actually blood, we need oxygen. Okay, and this oxygen needs blood, so that is why we have blood inside our body. But it is that oxygen which makes us alive. Okay, if there will be no oxygen in the blood, you will not feel good, maybe you will die. Okay, so that is why you start feeling suffocated when there is less supply of oxygen. Why do you feel suffocated? Still you have blood in your body, then still you feel suffocated. Why? Because your blood cannot move without oxygen. So oxygen is very important for us, but that oxygen has to enter the blood vessel, and blood vessels are covered with this epithelial tissue. These are the blood vessels. Can you see this blue part? So this is blood vessel, okay, here. So this is the layer of epithelium tissue. This is simple squamous. So it helps in the transfer of oxygen inside the blood cells, and carbon dioxide is given. Okay. So now what about stratified? What about the many layers? So children, our outer layer. This outer layer is very much prone to winds, very much prone to rain. It might get injured sometimes. So if there will be one layer, what will happen? If in case of injury, your internal parts will be exposed. Yes, so due to these reasons, all these skin parts have layers. They have many layers. Okay, so that if in case the upper layer is wounded or it is injured, so other layers are present. Okay, so that is why the outer skin of your body is made up of stratified epithelium. Stratified epithelium. And do you know, children, when you bath daily, you actually remove a lot of epithelium cell. You know that? When you daily bath, you shed a lot of epithelium cells from your body, but still you have your skin. Why? Because there are many cells present there. When you shed one cell, another layer of cell is already present. Okay, but this is not with the case of a snake. If you know, you can easily recall that snakes also shed their skin. Okay, but after some time they also get new skin. So that is their epithelial cells. Also now children, now can you tell me that which part in our body has many layers of epithelial tissue? That part is little harder than our other skin. Can you tell? Yes, foot. If you can recall, you may know that your bottom part of your foot is quite rough. It is quite hard. Do you know why? Because it has many layers of epithelial in them. So that is why your foot is very hard. Why your foot has many layers of epithelial tissue? Because you have to walk. Okay, many centuries ago, when all these chappals and footwears were not discovered, the humans used to walk on their feet. Okay, but still they can easily protect their feet because thanks to this epithelial tissue. Okay, so that is the reason epithelial tissue is very important. It is also present in our mouth cavity. Okay, when you brush, okay, you shed a lot of skin along with the things that is spit out with the toothpaste. So that actually you are shedding your epithelial tissues, but still you have, because there are many layers in your mouth cavity. If you can see, your mouth cavity also have skin, so that is epithelial cells, or we can say epithelial tissue. In stomach also, in anus also, stratified epithelium are present because we need many layers there. Okay, so that we have already covered, that is, it helps in the exchange of gases in respiratory and in kidney. In kidney also we need to exchange few things, that is done. Now if we talk about cuboidal epithelium tissue, cuboidal, we were talking about squamous epithelium. Okay, squamous epithelium. Now if we talk about cuboidal epithelium also perform the similar function like that of squamous, but it also helps in the secretion of certain things. It also helps in diffusion. Diffusion means exchange of things. It also helps in protection. Okay, so both are quite similar with each other. Now if we talk about columnar epithelium, columnar, they are column-like. So if they are column-like, it means they have very big rooms. Okay, they can store a lot of things because cube is small, square is very flat. But column, they have columns. So it means they have some space. They can absorb something. They can store something. Okay, so the main role of columnar epithelium is to absorb and to secrete certain things. To secrete means to release. Secrete means to release, to give out something. So they are present in stomach, they are present in the outer lining of small intestine and large intestine. Okay, if you can remember children, in small intestine there are many digestive juices. We need many digestive juices. Who produces these digestive juices? They are produced by columnar epithelium tissue. Okay, columnar epithelium tissue. When any food enters into your stomach, the epithelial tissue which are present here, which are present at the outer lining of the stomach, they release some juices which help in the proper digestion of our food. In a small intestine also, few things are released which help in the further absorption of the food. Okay, so these columnar epithelium tissue are present in stomach and intestine like this. Can you see here? They are present in these form. They are present in this outer lining. Alright, so these small intestine, they are empty from inside. Actually they are not empty, but food particles goes inside that, it rotates all over your small intestine, then it goes to the large intestine and comes out. Okay, so they have these things. Now if you can see, you will notice that they have this hair-like things. What are they? I did not told you about these hair-like things, what they might be. What is their role? See children, in this small intestine, the food has to rotate all over. Okay, so who will rotate this? Okay, so these hair-like projections, which are called as cilia, they actually flap, they move like this. Okay, so for example, this is cilia. When the food enters, they will flap like this. Okay, when they will flap, the food will go in forward and backward direction. So these are the specialized epithelial tissues. Okay, they are specialized epithelial tissues which are present in intestine and in here. They are like this. Can you see? These cilia are like this. They basically help in the movement, in the places where we need the movement. So that is how the food particle can be moved in small intestine and large intestine because of these hair-like projections. They also help in absorption, more absorption. Okay, these cilia. Since they have this specialized thing, so they are called as ciliated. They are called as ciliated epithelial tissue. So nothing big fancy thing to remember. If they have cilia, so they will be called as ciliated epithelial tissue. Also in trachea. Okay. Also you can call this as a windpipe. In windpipe, the oxygen and the carbon dioxide has to go down or in upward direction. Oxygen has to go there and carbon dioxide has to come out of it. So this cilia, this special hair-like projection helps in the movement. They constantly move like this. Okay, they constantly move like this and pushes the things outside. When you sneeze, okay, and when you have a runny nose, okay, when you have a runny nose, what happens is that mucus comes out of that sticky ghee-like structure, whatever you call it. When you have a runny nose, it comes out from your nostril, from your nose. So that is thrown out from your nose with the help of these epithelial tissue. Your nose has these specially designed epithelial tissue which are called as ciliated epithelial tissue. It helps in the movement of that mucus. Okay. So probably when there is no movement, you get worried and the doctor told you to take steam. Okay. So that's a big, that's important to move the things inside, and that is done by these epithelial tissue. It is also present in the fallopian tube of the female reproductive part. It is present in these fallopian tubes so that the egg can go inside the ovary, or something, or like sperm can go inside it. So they also have these cilia things, so that things can move. Okay, so that is the importance of these things. Now sometimes children, they changes their shape, they make something. Okay, for example, tears, they also make tears. Yes, so they also make sweat. So all these things are made in this columnar epithelium. What does it do is that it moves inward and it makes this space and makes things here and secrete out. Okay, so here it forms a gland. Okay, they forms a gland here. Okay, so that, have you heard of salivary gland? Yes, so salivary gland is actually made up of these epithelial tissue. Okay, it comes out, saliva is there in your mouth, sweat comes out of your skin, tears flows out from your eyes when you cry. So all these things are made here. Okay, and it is secreted by this epithelium tissue. Since they also take place, they also take up the role of glands, so they are called as glandular epithelium tissue. Clear? Because they play a role of glands, because we have tear glands, we have sweat glands, we have salivary glands. So these all functions are carried out by this type of epithelium tissue. So that's why they are also called as glandular epithelium tissue. You can see here, this is called as glandular epithelium. Children, I hope by now you understood what is the role of all the epithelium tissue. So they not only provide us protection, but they also help in the absorption. They also help in the secretion of certain things. They also help in exchange of various things in and out from our body, also in and out from the internal organs. So that is the role of epithelium tissues. So children, I hope it is very clear. So you can take a screenshot of it. Epithelium tissue are of 4 types: squamous, columnar, cuboidal and glandular. Okay, in the next class we will take muscular tissue. Till then, have a nice day.